So Forder is a real-time fraud prevention platform. We're reviewing any type of digital interaction between consumers and brands. So think of it, you go online, you use your credit card to buy something, you go online to use a promotion to open up an account, you buy something in the store and you want to go online and return it, or you're leveraging your loyalty account, right? There's a lot of different types of interactions. We're actually seeing an expansion of consumer choice in terms of what brands are offering them to do and how they want to engage with them. Kind of moving from very, very transactional, if you think about it 5 years ago, into more building a relationship. So it's not always a focus, like not every digital interaction will be a focus of a transaction. If you think of it from a fraudster perspective, that means substantially more ways to try to find value in it and kind of slip through the cracks. And what we're doing is we're evaluating every one of those interactions and letting a very simple answer to the retailer, hey, this is someone, you don't know them yet, but you can trust them because we know them and we've assessed the situation as trustworthy. Apparel companies or travel companies, so airlines, hotel chains, online travel agencies, on-demand services, anything essentially you can buy online, we will help protect them. That's where we started. We're currently protecting over $150 billion worth of e-commerce per year. And now we're starting to help the banks, right? If you think of it, every transaction actually starts on the bank side. And if the bank refuses to accept it because they don't have a lot of visibility into what's going on, there's nothing the merchant can do for us. So we're bringing the banks along. Maybe giving you a kind of a simple personal example,
Sure.
right? I live in New York. Every time Apple launches a new phone, I have to stay up until 3 a.m. to pre-order it.
Okay.
Don't judge me on that. And so I'm sitting in New York at my couch using the phone I bought the year before with my Apple account, with the Wi-Fi my Apple Music's connected to, shipping it to the address I bought my AirPods to, right? There's no risk factors. Everyone knows it's me. Everything's fine. But I wake up in the morning and I see a text from my bank that says, we've detected a suspicious activity on your card. Is that you? I say yes. And they say, well, go resubmit it now. It'll work. Right? So I'm 2 weeks in my pre-order, so they ruined that. And the reason is, even for such a sophisticated bank, and I won't name them, is they don't have any of the information I just told you, right? What they see looking at my card is the card shops at Whole Foods, at the subway, at, an occasional train. And now for the first time ever, from their perspective, in the middle of the night, it buys an expensive electronics device. That's suspicious to them. And if you have someone the size of Apple and someone the size of this bank, right, it's a top 5 bank in the US, and they can't kind of collaborate on it, think of what's happening to smaller banks and smaller retailers. And what we're here to do is sit in the middle, kind of leveraging the fact that we know the consumer, we understand the story. We will not tell the bank, hey, this is Michael sitting at this apartment. We'll tell them, you can trust this transaction because of everything that we've seen. Digital fraud, right? E-commerce fraud and on all of it is about $20 billion on credit cards. So fraudsters are getting paid about, or are able to steal about $20 billion. There's another probably $30 to $40 billion of what you would call abuse. People abusing promotions, right? The whole invite a friend and you both get $10 off. So you open up another Gmail account and keep inviting yourself. Or people that are using retailers as a closet because they abuse the return policy. There's a lot of this. People that are kind of building reseller businesses on top of other. When you aggregate all of that, there's probably about 50 billion. But the bigger issue is actually not that. The bigger issue is the retailers, with the kind of the fear of fraud, is driving them to turn a lot of good consumers away. And the latest research quotes about $300 billion worth of e-commerce transactions and do not happen because someone told them no, whether it's the retailer, the card schemes, or the banks. And when we're looking at kind of our impact, right, can we reverse that 300 billion? Right, just as a scope of this, if you only build a company from those declines, you'll be bigger than Amazon. Right, Amazon's about 250.
Yeah.
So when we start working with a retailer, we usually reduce that false positive rate by about 75%. So we can cut that. But on the retailer side, about half of that 300. The other half is on the banks. And when we started working with the banks, we see that we can reduce their false positive rate also by 75%. So in essence, we're trying to recoup about $225 billion worth of profits. So we're actually expanding our presence here. I've been here last year, just by myself, and now we have a booth over there. We have a larger presence in terms of people, because that's, I think, a great entry point for kind of engaging with the European banking system. I think we have good relationships and good kind of proof points in the US. And as we're expanding into Europe in general, right, we have European merchants and European airlines and European travel companies, but we don't work with European banks yet. And that's part of the reason we're here, to really engage with them and show them what can happen when they work with us. So part of what I'm going to talk about tomorrow is kind of trends in the fraud ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
People sometimes forget that they always think of fraudsters as, I don't know, maybe old-time criminals, but it's all organized, right? Not in the Godfather sense of the way, but they're actually trading with each other, and there's a whole economy there. The fraudulent economy as a whole, right? You take digital crime is about $1.5 trillion.
Wow.
Right? That would have been the 10th largest economy in the world. So there's a lot to talk about in terms of what's going on in that, on the back end of it.